Because how do you balance the whole thing, right? Because I had Kasim on. I'm not sure if you watched that interview. A lot of people found value from like the way he managed school and his agency, right? Because a lot of people, like most of my mentees, like most people are looking to start their agency, their balance is something else, right? So how did that balance work for you? I know you're crushing it with your studies, with the agency. So how did you manage to balance all that stuff?
Well, honestly, I have a pretty crazy schedule. To be honest, I would probably like normally my day-to-day schedule when I was fully driven was I'd go to sleep at 12, wake up at 4 a.m., take half an hour for myself, and then work out a little, and then start on agency work until 8. 8, go to school. Sometimes if I have a meeting from 9 to 5, the school's pretty relaxed, knowing that I make what I make and that I'm working and they're really into that stuff. So
cool.
Sometimes they let me have meetings in school, so that really sorts it out. Or after school as well. After school, I have designated hours for schoolwork and then designated hours for the agency work. But what really helped is that it was very automated, which honestly came mostly from the mentorship, which made it much easier to manage. If it were not automated, for example, sending the emails and all that stuff, it would have been much more difficult, to be honest. But it's a good grind. It's a good grind.
Dude, funny enough, a lot of those automated systems that we covered in the mentorship, like they came from me being stuck in uni, being stuck in class, and I'm like, dude, I cannot fucking send emails. Like, how am I supposed to sign clients? So I was like, there must be a better way than just like banging out hundreds of like cold emails, and being at it at your desk. That's really dope though. Like, did you have that conversation with the school, or did it just come out like naturally?
No, so at the beginning of the year, I had a couple of meetings, and you probably can know that I get along with pretty much everybody. So
most people, I mean, I think someone made a reference because I was watching. I watched. He had a speech at his graduation, so checked it out. And there was one of his friends actually made a mention to your agency, right? So like most people are aware that you're part of the agency. Okay.
And so I get along really well with the headmaster. We always talk about, for example, books that we really like, or just stuff in general we really like. So he asked me, what did you do during quarantine? And I explained to him that I started an agency and all that good stuff. And he's like, oh, really? Wow, how do you balance it? And I was like, well, here I am. So, and then he lets me use his office when I have, for example, which is really cool.
That's right.
Yeah, which is really sweet of him, honestly.
Have clients ever been like, yo, I think that's like a high school, are you in a principal's office? Are you grounded?
I've had people like, it's a really nice office. I'm like, thank you, thank you. Nice. And but I've also had bad experiences with some meetings, not clients per se, but for example, discovery calls.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, you're 17 years old. What do you know about this? The minute I hear that, I turn it off. I'm like, I don't have time for you.
Right. How do you react to that? Because I mean, right now you're 18, right?
Yeah.
So when you had success, because right now, how much are you making?
Right now, I've the top because with IB exams and everything, right now I'm making 5,000 passive. Okay. Without having.
But you got to like 12K per month, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 3-4 months, 12K.
You got to, and that's 5K because he was doing IB, like all this shit, like that's passive, like completely passive, like that's pretty insane at your age, especially.
Thank you.
12K a month, right?
Yeah.
So you got to that figure, 17.
Yeah.
If that conversation ever came up, right? That objection ever came up, like what was your response to it? Did it come up a lot? Or because I feel like it doesn't come up as much as people think. They're like, oh, people are gonna pick my age. Like, dude,
no, it really doesn't.
Show the confidence.
No, it really doesn't. And actually, the thing is, like, when you get into the meetings with these guys, they're like, all we want is results. We don't care about your age. Like, I can have a 10-year-old do it, and if he can do it, that's all I want. I want the results. But then you always find, a bit more conservative about work style, and to be like, well, what do you know? You're 17 years old. And my approach to that is, I know what I'm capable of. My referrals show what I'm capable of. The things I've worked on in the past show what I'm capable of. If someone doesn't believe in me, I'm not wasting my time with them. Okay. They can find somebody else to do it for them, even though I know I can do the job 10 times better.
Okay.
So they lose, I don't.
Right. No, I like that. Cool. So going back to the schedule, right? So you said, I mean, you woke up really early. Right?
Yeah.
You had the 30-minute, like what you did, morning routine or something
morning
like that.
Routine,
okay, cool. Then you went to school. Then after school, like what were the, I mean, what did it look like?
After school, I do sports too, so it's a packed schedule.
Yeah.
I have an hour where I just relax, and then I have sports for an hour and a half, get home, do most of my schoolwork, and then I leave 2 hours to check up on how everything's going, see how the ads managers are going, speak. What really helped as well is the difference in time zones with my employees and team members. So,
because what does the team look like right now?
The team, well, now it's 3 people.
Okay, sure.
Me and 3 people. And
what, like media buyers, like what?
Yeah, so media buyer, ad copier, and then a CTO.
Okay, cool.
And so what helped is the difference in time zones, because when it's really late for me, it's early for them. So it was perfect for me, especially since I kind of worked really late and really, really early. So it worked, it meshed really well. So that's what helped as well. But I'd leave, because my parents, they're pretty traditional. They told me you can have the company and the agency and you can work as much as you want, but if we see that your school grades are declining, you're not. So I had to keep those grades up and grinded a lot, but it was worth it. Learned a lot, and I think I can easily say that the work experience I've gained from this year is better than what I would gain in an internship somewhere, somewhere here in Madrid or somewhere.